There we go. Well, hey, since I can't tell what's going on, I have no monitor. Hopefully you all can see what's happening here. So, what we have here is the setup for the very first semester, the opening of your game for Living Starship when you open the box. Every player will have their own character box with an insert that you can put your character image on. Write in your character's name and where they're from. We open the box, and inside it will have their dice and a deck of attribute cards and inserts for keeping track of the condition of your dice and your uniform, the things you can do with it. In this very first game, all the uniform uses, of which you have 6, you're good for adding a +1 or a -1 to any one of your dice rolls. Every time you choose to use that, and you can use it at any time, you just mark off one of the boxes till you have no more. I'm going to keep these boxes off screen because they take up more space than we have camera space. But your deck of cards, your attribute cards, of which there are 9, you have 3 cards which allow you to split a dice result. So for instance, if you had a dice result of 3, you could turn this into a 2 and give that 1 to a 4-sided dice and turn it into a 1. We've got 3 of them that do that. You have one that agility does it for physical, awareness does it for mental tasks, and your genome does it for social tasks. You also have 3 of them that allow you to re-roll one of your dice results. Again, with presence, willpower, and endurance, allowing you to do it during social, mental, and physical. Then 3 of them allow you to combine any of your dice results into one bigger dice total. So strength, your enlisted rank, and your reasoning allow you to do them for physical, social, and mental tasks. So that would mean right here is you could combine all 3 of these results, the 1, and the 2, into a 4 to apply to a task. Keep these over here on the side. You won't be able to see them all, but I'll try to hold them up when we use them. So to begin with, the object of semester 1, as we have these little obstacles here on this grid, the object will be to be placing these polyomino shapes. You can ignore these icons on it, but these polyomino shapes on the board so as to put them together, clump them together in the biggest space possible so that the outline of them, their very perimeter, is as big as possible and has as few of the pink squares enclosed within it. So what that would mean is, we're going to use orange for our characters this time. All right, and in order to place one of these polyomino shapes, we're going to have to complete a classroom card. Again, we can ignore most of the information on here. This particular one will allow us to place this shape if we have 4 dice results, each greater than the previous one. So like a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Once we have that completed, then we would be able to draw this shape somewhere on the grid. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and roll all our dice. This is a simple roll and write game to begin with. Complexity gets increased as we progress through various semesters and games. All right, so we've got each character, we're playing with all 4 of them right now, has their own set of basic effort dice, a 4-sided die, a 6-sided die, an 8-sided die, and a 12-sided die. They all have 1 blank space on them, and then values ranging from 1 to 5. The 6-sided die only has 1s and 2s and a single 3 on it. The 8-sided die has a 0, a 1, a couple 2s, a couple 3s, and a couple 4s. And the 12-sided die has a 0, a 1, some 2s, some 3s, some 4s, and 2 5 results. This is all broken down on the website if you want to check out what the various dice do. So we're going to go ahead and start this game. And because it's cooperative, doesn't matter what turn order we go in. And also, one character can complete a whole thing, or everybody can contribute one or more dice results to any of these classes. So we've got the greater than set. We have a 2-pair set for both science and operations. And then for health, the results we need here are 2 even numbers and 2 odd numbers. So I think we're going to go ahead and complete that because this is the shape I want to try to fit in first. This sort of Z shape. So zeros do not count as even or odd numbers. So we cannot enter these blank 0 results. And you'll notice on this health, it is a physical task. So what we're going to do is take one of our characters and I'm going to re-roll one of those dice. It's physical. So they are going to re-roll. They're going to use their endurance card. They're going to discard that from their deck of 9 cards. We're going to discard this and re-roll one of their dice. Slightly better. So we're going to use that as one of the odd numbers. Character number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just for my sake, is going to, and the higher the values we put on these, the better our score is at the end. We'll describe scoring at the end. But bigger numbers are better. But you can on many of these cards use zeros. So we've got a 1. We need another odd number. We'll have this character number 3. Get rid of there a 1. So we're not doing so well in this health class. Maybe it's just a low score. Character number 4 is going to discard the 2, give us an even number. And you know what? Character number 2 really wants to make sure our score is a little better. So it gives us a 4. So when we score at the end of the semester, this will be worth 6, 7, 8 points. But it is completed. We set that aside. And now we can draw in this little Z shape. So remember, we don't want our big master perimeter to include any pink, or at least as little pink as possible. So I think we're just going to go ahead and start here in this corner. Fill out this space. So now, if the game were to end right now, our perimeter would just be this little 3x3 grid and would contain no pink. But we must place all 4 of these shapes in here to finish this week of this semester. We're going to play through 7 rounds, 7 weeks, and do this process 7 times on 7 different grids. For right now, we're just going to do this one as a demonstration. So we discard that. And so far, we've got a solid start. Now we have 3 more classes we have to complete this round using the rest of our dice results. So we need 2 pairs. Looks like we've got a 2 and a 2 from characters 3 and 4. And here we can use zeros. So character 1 is going to use a 0, and character 4 is going to use a 0. So this is not boding well for a great science score, but we have completed it now with 2 pairs. And now we get to place in this next shape. Now, we could place all 4 here. I think that's actually what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the little nub that comes off the side. Now you can place these in any orientation you want, though you cannot invert them or mirror image them. They must be the exact shape depicted. So here we did this little outline right along here. There we go. So we're halfway through week number 1. But character number 4 spent almost all of their effort. They've only got 1 die left, but it is a big 4, so we need another 2 pair. Maybe collectively all these characters are wanting to make sure that we get a good operations score. So characters 3 and 4, whoops, that was also 4. Character 4 is going to spend their last die. Both of them are going to put 4s on there. We need 2 other pairs. So we're going to do a 2 and a 2. So now this is a nice score of 12 for operations, which would be great. You get to put in this big L shape. So now remember, we're wanting to maximize perimeter as much as possible. Each of these shapes must, I did not say, must be placed orthogonally, meaning they cannot start diagonally from a previous one, but must be connected side by side with at least one filled in space of a previous thing. So we cannot do that shape. Can't do that shape because it would overlap. Can't do it that way because it would be off the grid. We could, and actually this looks pretty crafty, go this way. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we could now, because we want to maximize width and depth of our grid, we're going to go ahead and, oh, I just lied. I made that a mirror image. We can't do that. So it has to go this direction, as in that shape. So, all right. So far, we've got this big grid. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. So a 7 by 6 grid. Doing pretty well. However, it does currently contain these 3 pink spaces, which are worth -5 points each. We'll get to scoring in a minute, so I'm not overly worried about that at the moment. So we do now have to fit in this sort of blocky shape somehow. Now obviously we want to maximize the width this way, which we already have with that. We also want to maximize the length that way. So maybe what we're looking to do is that. But we need 4 numbers, each greater than the last. Zeros do count. So character 3 has a 0. We need a 1. Oh, look at this. Oh, I did this perfectly. I wasn't even paying all that much attention. 1. Character there, that's a 3, and the very final result is this 4. So a score of 8 on our flight exam, or flight class. And now we get to put in this sort of chunky shape, which you want to maximize the width this way. Oh, but I can't mirror image it that way. Well, unfortunately, we could go wide this way. So do get to fill in that space after all. We'll 3 that way, these 2 little bits. So there we go. So now we have completed this week of training, having taken a flight class, health class, operations, and science class. And our big old master square is this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a 7 by 9 grid, which equals what? 56. Let's hope my math is right. 56 points for the grid. Plus, we get to add in all, minus our, well, minus 5, 10, 15, minus 15. So that's what, 40, 56, 46. So that's 41 points. I'm real speedy at math, as you can see. So far we have 41 points. Now we also get to add in all of these. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. 32 from our class scores. So 41 plus 32. Our master score is 73 points for week number 1. I don't have it depicted here, but we would have a score sheet. Like to think of it as our group's report card for the week. We would fill that out with our individual scores in each of the classes. Because overall 7 semesters we'll have a total yellow operations score, we'll have a total purple health score, and so on and so forth. And then, because this will all be online, you'll be able to compare your graduation scores with your group, with your characters, to everybody else who's played and gone through the academy. See which characters and which teams come out with the highest graduating scores. So that is round 1 of 7, of which you'd play. We'd swipe these out. We'd draw 4 more class cards. Oops. Tactical, engineering, another flight, or agency, another flight class, and an engineering class. We would get 4 more shapes. We would have a new grid with slightly different obstacles, and we'd have to work through the process all over again until, so the other thing I depicted here is now, the end of this week, one of our 4 characters would get the 8-sided die flight card to add to their deck to use in the future, not in this semester 1, but in future games starting with semester 2. So because we completed this, we would decide amongst ourselves, or it could be whoever contributed the highest points. You decide yourself amongst your group of players. Somebody gets the 8-sided die flight training card that would then go into their deck to be used in games starting with semester 2. And that is how our little mini game of semester 1 of your Starship Academy experience begins. Thank you for joining us, and you can check us out this Saturday, January 30th of 2021, where I will be joined by the magnificent Lulu All Night, a drag queen who has very minimal gaming experience, but we are going to be drawing names and creating a bracketed tournament for Dice Throne. It's a really fun competitive dice game where everybody gets to play fun fantasy characters, and it's a head-to-head sort of combat thing. There's 16 characters, so we're going to do 8 sets of games, pairing up randomly each of the characters, and we're going to do a whole series of, not all in one sitting, but we'll play in each live stream. Sorry. In each live stream, we'll play one game, possibly dress up as the characters. Lulu certainly wants to. And see, at the end of this whole bracketed tournament, which character comes out on top. So you can join us this Saturday here on this channel. Please like and subscribe, and we'll chat with you later. Thanks.